Monday, the 24th day of July 2023. Hello there and welcome to News Tonight here on UBC TV. First of all, let's have a look at our top stories. Tonight, no more. Experts analyze the 3 years KCCA Executive Director in office. DP members of Parliament want Mao to join NRM individually. And in sports, Uganda sent 17 boxers for the Africa Boxing Championships in Cameroon. Hello there and welcome once again on Sign Language. It is Elizabeth Nakakoni and I am Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma, and we are coming to you live online and on air from Broadcast House here on Nile Avenue. Let's get started. The Uganda Police Force has deployed at the border post to implement an executive order to counter the exportation of timber and illegal charcoal trading. Now, this follows President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni's directive which banned the exportation of timber in a bid to conserve the environment. We have more in this story.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni issued a directive dated 21st of June 2023 instructing the Prime Minister to take action in the worrying trends of forest degradation. The directive banned the exportation of timber and illegal forest harvest. Police have deployed to enforce the executive order.
So all timber traders, transporters, who often work in complex networks to facilitate the illegal transportation of timber across our land, air or water bodies are warned that it is now an illegality to export timber out of the country. So we therefore have a zero tolerance towards anyone who defies this executive order by engaging in the illegal export of timber.
The letter further instructed the cancellation of licenses and permits issued in this regard as a way of protecting the environment. Police have protested the UN advisory to its staff on the use of the Northern Bypass and the Entebbe Expressway. The advisory highlighted insecurity and robbery hotspots along these high-end highways. Police demands security returns from the UN to substantiate the note.
So we are tasking them to share their returns with us, and failure to do so, we shall regard their travel advisory as another malicious and openly hostile communication against Ugandans and visitors in the country.
Meanwhile, in the northwest, police have arrested Bashir Surundo, a suspected remnant of the Ugandan National Rescue Front, a rebel group, and the hunt for accomplices is on.
They have been responsible for a number of armed robberies and violent attacks in these two districts. So after the arrest of Barish, he admitted to being a member of this disgruntled rebel group, and he had been deployed to search for food.
At Bunagana border, Ashrafu Sempewa and the wife Nansamba Fatuma have been intercepted while crossing to Kong. These are suspected to be ADF recruits.
Now, Minister for Local Government Raphael Magezi has said that the Market Act 2023 will end disputes over ownership. He was launching the reviewed act which addresses management structures in markets.
In 2018, Honorable Margaret Rabushaija Nambiru, a worker member, said and tabled a new law in Parliament on the administration of markets. President Museveni assented to the bill into law on 22nd May 2023. Minister for Local Government Raphael Magezi has launched the Market Act 2023.
It is my pleasure to launch and set the journey for implementation.
And we are together and we are celebrating an achievement. And I want to say it is not my achievement, it's for all of us. every stakeholder who is here.
The new Market Act 2023 replaces the Market Act of 1942, which didn't provide for the management of vendors.
It is the fights we have with allocation of stores, and it originated from allowing the vendors to elect their own representatives on the allocation committee. So they start with themselves. Because I'm the chairman of the allocation committee, I start by giving myself and give my cronies and my relatives and so on.
Minister Majezi says the Market Act 2023 will create a negotiation platform for vendors and city or municipal authorities.
Permitting presentation of vendors in their various sectors in terms of the commodities they are trading, they are able to elect their representatives to a man and a woman. Again, these are things which were not there. The new concept of gender, applicable to the market. The new concept of e-trade and trade order issue. It's all coming up. The rights of vendors and rights of customers.
The same act will ensure hygiene in all markets, enable people to engage in decision making, even when government authorities shall manage the facilities.
Ingredients of the market, what must be there? For example, the car parks. You must make sure that there is parking space for the vendors who have cars, but also for the buyers. Where do I park my car? You cannot just start a market which has no garbage collection and management, sanitation and hygiene in the market. We had a big challenge of traders being also market managers, which was a conflict of interest. Glad that this has been straightened. We're in the market to trade. The local authority must put in trade order.
Market vendors, civil society organizations, non-government organizations, including Institute for Social Transformation, which offers revolving funds to empower women in markets, welcomed the new reforms.
We recognize the fact that the Act is schools and companies and associations, because sometimes this is where you find issues when you have private companies and private individuals. It's hard to make sure that everything is according to the rules. So it's very good that local government is taking a big interest in this.
The Market Act 2023 comes at a time when RA and the initial install owners in Bokoto Market over ownership are high. I'm Ivan Juko for UBC.
Thanks to Juko for that story there. Now, under absorption of planned funds has been in the spotlight in recent days. Experts argue that the return of money to the Treasury could mean some government's commitments in the given financial year were not met. We sought the views of Professor Augustus Nwagaba, a renowned economist, on the matter.
Every financial year, ministries, departments and agencies are allocated funds to enable them execute priority projects. However, it has become common trend for the MDS to return funds back to the Treasury in trillions of shillings at the end of the financial year. The question remains, why does it happen amid service delivery gaps?
So a procurement can take months and months. And since most of the money is really on procurement, it means that when the time is already gone and the money cannot be utilized. And the Minister of Finance does not accept the money for this financial year to be accrued to next financial year. The money has to go back to the ministry.
In the year ending June 2022, over 4 trillion shillings was not utilized, and in the just ended financial year, processes seem not to be streamlined, which economist Professor Augustus Nwagaba wants fast-tracking in order for government entities to fully utilize the allocated funds.
So, it is important for government, I think in my view, to leave for some areas of flexibility. Okay. But you know, Ugandans, once you leave now areas of flexibility, it now brings in exactly people who exploited the maximum, and then it brings corruption. So that's why we say no violence, no mischarges, no flexibility. The money, if it is budgeted for item A, let it be for item A. If you didn't spend for that item A, let the money come back to Treasury.
On matters of regional trade, Professor Nwagaba is concerned about how Uganda is treated by regional states. He singles out Kenya, which has blocked entry of Uganda's milk and grain.
They have put a lot of problems in terms of what we call non-tariff barriers, NTBs, products. And we're in what we call a common market, which is the fourth stage of the Federation, East African Federation. And this stage is saying there should be free movement of goods and services and free movement of labor. This is what a common market is.
So the business community also needs to adhere to the standards.
Maybe we have had problems of our maize, but now milk, Kenya has not been good, it has not been fair. We need to resolve these issues. It's the best. There is no way Uganda you are going to fail to sell milk to Kenya and tell me that you are going to sell it to Europe. It is impossible.
Uganda's agricultural sector has been adversely affected by unending trade wars with neighbors, which is also exacerbated by insecurity. Dennis Igoa for UBC News.
And of course, it's on that story that we expect to be joined later on in this program by the Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Bariumusi, to shed more light on this issue of government ministries and departments returning money to the Treasury, and also to look at other issues that unfolded and made news during the past few weeks in this country. News just in, President Yoweri Museveni has said that insecurity in Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo and Sudan can be solved once leaders agree to reject sectarian politics. I was meeting the chairperson of the African Union Commission, Musa Faki Mahamat, at State House in Entebbe. Museveni said the problems of Africa are all connected to Western imperialism and their interests, which Uganda rejected. President Museveni said the problems in the DRC started in the 1960s, perpetuated by imperialists overthrowing the legitimacy and sovereignty of the people of Congo after the election of Lumumba, who was later killed. About M23 rebels, General Museveni said it is a political problem which can be solved by discussion. The chairperson of the African Union Commission, Musa Faki Mahamat, called on the president to discuss ways of finding lasting solutions to the instability broke out recently. He hailed President Museveni for the advice and guidance in his tenure as the chairperson of the commission 6 years down the road. News Tonight will now take a very short break and we'll be returning with much more. Do stay with us.
Uganda waraji batusako manrane chikona tena tekomu seko season yakuna savu July kuma mal papa's hall usasule kwa MTN mobile money usasule gumu chitundu MTN usasule nega komitano iga stemesha kwa MTN ofune tiketi yokati wabula kumulyango usasule mitwale ebiri yepe mitwale 5 ate meza ya milioni 2 na July kodi ni hotel mkono mwenda July ni can resort weza 15 July France Africa jinja 2 July Maria Flema Saka abiri mwenda July Afro Club Sangati ate yo noku yingira mutwalo bavugidwa mu sente Talent Africa Victoria University Suzu Property Consultants Pepsi Max Uganda Waraji ne
MTN. At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes. Office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Bara and Jinja.
This, on the streets, you get your real education. Here, everybody has a degree of something. But the most important qualification is imagination. His reason is to be the GOAT. The reason to imagine is to take the beat and make it lit. So no matter what your situation, just use your imagination.
Uganda's oil and gas projects are providing opportunities for Ugandan businesses. Between 2017 and 2022, 40% of the 3,800 procurements worth $4.4 were awarded to 460 Ugandan companies. This includes 41 community-based companies that have been awarded contracts worth $2.3 million. In order to be contracted to supply goods and services for oil activities in Uganda, entities must register on the National Suppliers Database. Over 2,300 entities are registered on the Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey.
Dear Airtel customer, we know that there are days when unexpected stays in hospital stand in the way of your family's welfare. That is why Hospital Center is here to give you up to 100,000 shillings every night you spend in hospital. Hospital Center also offers up to 4 million in funeral benefit. Dial star 185 star 7 star 6 hash to purchase hospital of 5,000 shillings a month. Your cover for the first 1 month is free. Hospital Center is underwritten by Prudential and powered by Turaco. Prudential and Turaco are regulated by the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda. Airtel Money is regulated by the Bank of Uganda.
Ekinene kikino Jemisinde mu bunabyalo ejabagubirizi ba Kristo East African Christian Marathon jangu tuddukira wamu misinde gy'essaala gino nga 13 omwezi ogw'omunaana erugogo ku kisaawe kya hockey jangu okikirira mu makago mu misinde gy'essaala n'ekiruubirirwa ekirungi eky'okuzimba ekifo awanakwatirwanga amasimu ag'ettundutundu ly'obuvanjuba bwa Africa. Weetabe emisinde gino bawo abakulembeze b'ekitundu kyo abanakiikirira Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, DR Congo, South Sudan n'abawona mu Uganda. Jangu odduke ne Captain Mike Mukula agenda okulemberamu abaddusi. Ddukirira enteekateeka eno ng'ogula mujozi muwona ddukira ku $2,000, $3,000 ne $10,000 kuba enteekateeka z'emisinde nga gino zikyusa ensi. Okumanya ebisingawo kuba ku noti 781 885 noti 55. Emisinde gya East African Christian Marathon giwagiddwa UBC TV, Star TV ne Star FM emmunyenye y'eggwanga.
Welcome back from that break, and this is Elizabeth Nakakoni, and I am Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma. Now, the Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, says the presidential directive to channel all government adverts through Uganda Broadcasting Corporation and the new vision is promoted to private media houses under unclear circumstances, leaving the state-owned national broadcaster UBC with peanuts to manage government programs. Now, the intentions of government bureaucrats had remained unclear why they were suffocating the government national broadcasters. However, interim intelligence briefs indicate that private broadcasters have been offering bribes in form of commissions to some government bureaucrats to give them business. Take a watch.
6th March 2023, President Kaguta Museveni directed the Prime Minister to instruct the Permanent Secretary and Secretary to Treasury to earmark 30 billion shillings to the state-owned national broadcaster, UBC, in the new financial year running 2023-2024 for its operations and growth. The same letter directed all government advertisements to go through UBC and the new vision with decisions pegged to it to dismiss any accounting officer from duties who will act non-compliant to his directive as a minimum punishment. Since then, the letter has caused a storm in a cup of tea with private media owners under their umbrella body, the National Association of Broadcasters, jumping onto the bandwagon with compromised researchers falling short of explaining how national broadcaster and state-owned publications are funded world over.
So we are working out modalities to see how the guidance from the president can be implemented but also the interests of the private sector accommodated.
The 18th July 2023 media brief remarks for Q1 expenditure for the financial year 2023-2024 by the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Finance, Ramadhan Ngowi, acted as the last nail on the coffin to enforce the presidential directive.
And I hope accounting officers are listening once again, that they are required to ensure that they communicate, they advertise, prioritize advertisement with government-owned media.
The respect we give the private broadcasters should be the same respect we give to UBC, or even maybe to an extent UBC should even enjoy bigger respect from government, because it's a government broadcaster, and that's why the president is writing that we should give it priority, and indeed we are going to give it priority.
The Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Wariomosi, advised hired propagandists by the National Association of Broadcasters, NAB, to frankly advise their funders to swallow their pride, accept and respect the presidential directive.
We shall not, as UBC, to strengthen the UBC, to elevate it into a broadcaster that reaches all corners of the country and beyond, and we want to build its capacity to make it #1 broadcaster in this country. So even those red cards, we shall have to review them, and the government do not undermine UBC.
According to Wariomosi, the protests indicated in the letter written by NAB threatening to boycott all government functions will not change the status quo nor influence the decisions and powers of the fountain enshrined in the Constitution to manage the affairs of the state.
They should tone down on the excitement, because we received this guidance from the president, and I have discussed this with the leadership of NAB, and we are trying to examine the guidance from the president with a view of looking at how to operationalize it.
The president's decision looks at improving the efficiency, quality and access media coverage of the state-owned media outlets, especially with the tip on how private media owners have in one way bribed government bureaucrats managing votes of ministries and UBC and its affiliates, state partly owned publication, The New Vision.
Because the challenge has been that government departments look at UBC as one of their own, and they want to give it work to broadcast and publish without paying UBC. And yet UBC has been getting little money in the form of subvention from government. So that's why we are saying, in addition to the subvention from government, we also support UBC through giving it adverts from government, paid adverts, so that we can raise money and be able to run UBC very efficiently. So the instruction stands.
However, as UBC and Vision Group keep silent, there are camps of hired ill-informed researchers and social media influencers on how national broadcasters are funded to continue trolling unethical propaganda, malice and sabotage, hate speech and behaving unprofessional. But the house which has served all generations, the cries of the squirrels can't put it down. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
25 minutes after 8 in the studios of UBC TV. We'll take yet another short break and return with much more. Do stay with us.
Unexpected stays in hospital stand in the way of your family's welfare. That is why Hospital Center is here to give you up to 100,000 shillings every night you spend in hospital. Hospital Center also offers up to 4 million in funeral benefit. Dial star 185 star 7 star 6. Hospital Center is underwritten by Prudential and powered by Turaco. Prudential and Turaco are regulated by the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda. Airtel Money is regulated by the Bank of Uganda.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt and lifestyle strategies which which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers
important conversations. Airtel Uganda has made it possible for you to call across all networks in Uganda at the best rates with the new Bona voice bundles. Stay connected anytime, anywhere, with minutes valid for calls on all networks.
Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Joko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the ministry.
PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Ekinene kikino Jemisinde mu bunabyalo ejabagoberizi ba Kristo East African Christian Marathon jangu tuddukira wamu misinde gy'essaala gino nga 13 omwezi ogw'omunaana erugogo ku kisaawe kya Hoboki mu makago mu misinde gy'essaala n'ekiruubirirwa ekirungi eky'okuzimba ekifo awanakwatirwa ng'amasimu ak'ekitundu ky'obuvanjuba bwa Africa. Wetabe misinde gino oddukire wamu n'omusumba wo abakulembeze b'ekitundu kyo abanaakiikirira Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, DR Congo, South Sudan n'abawano mu Uganda. Jangu odduke ne Captain Mike Mukula agenda okukulemberamu abaddusi. Dduukirira enteekateeka eno ng'ogula omujoozi mw'onaddukira ku mitwalo 2, mitwalo 3 n'emitwalo 10 kuba enteekateeka z'emisinde nga gino zikyusa ensi. Okumanya ebisingawo kuba ku noti 781-885 noti 55. Emisinde gya East African Christian Marathon giwagiddwa UBC TV, Star TV ne Star FM emunyenye y'eggwanga.
Approved on their data voice bundles. You can now call across all networks for the same price. We've talked to several eyewitnesses on the ground, and this is what one of them had to say. As a Ugandan is enjoying these MTN data voice bundles, dial star 100 star 21 hash or use the My MTN app to start enjoying. Stay tuned for more offers from MTN.
Welcome back from that break, and you are still watching news here on UBC TV. My name is Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma, and welcome from that break. Now, the Democratic Party members of Parliament have questioned the fate of the Memorandum of Understanding between the Democratic Party and the National Resistance Movement Party. Now, the MPs say that Mr. Norbert Mao has officially been welcomed to the NRM and can no longer spearhead the party activities. In a letter addressed by President Yoweri Museveni, he officially welcomed Norbert Mao to the NRM after Mao's function, dubbed Mao Homecoming, was a success. Meanwhile, MPs subscribing to the NRM have welcomed Norbert Mao, saying the move will improve service delivery. Take a watch.
The Democratic Party President Norbert Mao is scheduled to host an unusual event in Gulu City, codenamed Resistance Movement, to enhance the political space in Uganda. Minister Mao is also a strong and resourceful.
So I'm an apostle of unity. I have never preached hatred. Why would I, for instance, talk to Joseph Kony, a man known for ordering mass killings? If I can talk to Kony, why can't I talk to anybody?
But Mao's bid for multi-party dialogue has been on several occasions.
To shun the so-called cooperation agreement between President Museveni and Minister Norbert Mao and Mr. Siranda Gerard.
Mao will host several dignitaries from all walks of life in Gulu on Saturday, 22nd July 2023. The members of DP Parliamentary Caucus, led by Richard Lumu, have decided to boycott the event, claiming that it is behind the premises of the DP party.
it is the right of the Honorable Minister to organize a homecoming event in celebrating his appointment as Minister in the NRM government. However, our Democratic Party members should know that this is not a Democratic Party event, and whoever will risk to attend will do so in his
organizing our strength with the Electoral Commission. We are supposed to have intelligence.
The MPs have instead organized DP prayers at Christ the King Church in Kampala in protest for the Mao's homecoming event.
And pray to God because we are going to have Mass there, which is going to precede other series of activities in various places of worship.
They will be stronger than before. But we are saying it is not very easy to eat by way of biting an elephant which is walking.
They keep on saying Mao is a pumpkin, that Mao is paid by Museveni. That one now can say whatever they want about me. Ugandans are paying attention to the person with Bueno. There are those who accuse.
On Saturday, 22nd July 2023, the Democratic Party President Norbert Mao hosted what was dubbed Mao Homecoming to spread the gospel of unity, especially regarding the political environment in Uganda.
So Mao is back, and I'm going to be mobilizing, and I'm going to move not only in Acholi but all over Uganda, preaching unity.
The Mao Homecoming function hosted in Gulu City was a move to also enhance the cooperation agreement signed recently by both the Democratic Party and the National Resistance Movement.
Because some of us who are of the democratization process and constitutionalization, we were wondering why did DP separate from NRM? Because they were partners between 1986 to 1996, I think.
From an appropriation perspective, that will bring unity in this country and make all of us work together. And because what you're doing it for Uganda, not for a few individuals.
President Yoweri Museveni, while giving credit to Mao's event, officially welcomed him to the NRM party in a letter which also circulated in various media. This letter, where the president also shared a historical background of divisions caused by the past leaders, including religious and cultural leaders, has MPs say this puts the MOU between Mao and NRM in a dilemma.
We shall reclaim our Democratic Party, and we are demanding sets up a delegates conference. Let us select new leaders. Let's leave the party breathe.
The NRM members of parliament welcomed Norbert Mao's gesture of unity, saying will improve service delivery.
There are others, but I think Mao is a very big brand in the north. So him coming out to explain to his people, surrounded by different politicians, I think that is a very good thing for us as a country. It tells you that, working together can be a fruit and people can coexist.
That if you are a leader in a ruling party, at the same time a leader on the opposition, it is a good example for our local leaders.
UBC News.
And of course, that story there about Minister Norbert Mao being welcomed by President Yoweri Museveni. Of course, that money, actually, we're talking about 1 trillion shillings last financial year being returned to the Treasury. And analysts are saying that probably there are procurement glitches. And can you explain or shed more light on this latest development?
Yeah, first of all, it's very unfortunate for money to be released to an entity, a ministry or an agency or a department of government, and then money is not used to do what it's supposed to do, and then when it clocks the end of the financial, the accounting officer has to return this money to the treasury. It shouldn't be like that. But we must appreciate that we run a cash budget to the extent that the Ministry of Finance through URA, what it corrects is what it remits to lending agencies on a quarterly level. So sometimes, like the first quarter, the releases may be smaller than what has been budgeted. And as the financial year progresses, and as URA collects the taxes, maybe the releases improve. So there are various reasons to explain this. One, yes, procurement, the procurement process is one reason, because we have an elaborate procurement law, the Public Procurement and Disposal Act, which has statutory timelines. By the time you procure a material or whatever you are procuring, you have to go through stringent processes. And basically we put them in the law so that we minimize or eliminate corruption. But then they come with the side effects of sometimes the processes. If they know they have planned for this activity, they could start the process even when maybe the money has not been released. So that by the time of finance releases money, you have advanced in the process and you can now commit the money. So we may need to examine the law and see how we can make it faster, we make it move without undermining the intentions of fighting corruption. But also sometimes could be laziness and laxity among our government people. On the side of Ministry of Finance, maybe releasing the money late, especially in the last quarter. If you release the money when there are 2-3 weeks to the end of the financial year, you can't expect the accounting officer the money in just a few weeks. Although over time there has been improvement from our Ministry of Finance. But also the accounting officers sometimes also are to blame. They may initiate expenditure processes late, and then they are caught laxity at the level of Ministry of Finance, and also the spending agency, the accounting officers, is also a key factor. Because the law allows that even when you have not spent the money, you can commit the money. And if an accounting officer, a permanent secretary or chief administrative officer commits the money, that means that, for instance, if money was meant for a